Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we will study about the administrative control in the public sectors. That how administratively things are to be controlled in the administrative sector. किस तरह से जो है वो चीज़ों को प्रॉपरली अकाउंटेबल किया जाता है, किस तरह से ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल को जो है उसके एक्ट्स के लिए अकाउंटेबल किया जाता है और किस तरह से तमाम जो मामलात हैं उनको प्रॉपरली एक मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर जो है वो उन पर काम किया जाता है। तो सबसे पहले हम डेफिनेशन देख लेते हैं administrative control or administrative accountability. These are two alternative words, administrative control or administrative accountability. The sum of total of constitutional, statutory, administrative and judicial rules and precedents and the established practice by means of which public officials may be held accountable for their official actions. It means कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में मौजूद तमाम के तमाम जितने भी आर्टिकल्स हैं, स्टैट्यूटरी या फिर कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रूल्स हैं या कोई हमारे जुडिशियल रूल्स हैं या फिर जो है वो कुछ ऐसे कस्टम्स एंड रूल्स हैं जो कि हम ऑलरेडी फॉलो कर रहे हैं, ये कुछ ऐसी प्रैक्टिसेस जो ऑलरेडी जो है वो हमारी सोसाइटी में फॉलो हो रही हैं। अगर हम उनके अगेंस्ट जाते हैं तो अल्टीमेटली हम अपने एक्शंस के लिए क्या होंगे, अकाउंटेबल होंगे। बिकॉज दिस इज द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अकाउंटेबिलिटी, इट मीन्स वी आर अकाउंटेबल टूवर्ड्स द गवर्नमेंट और टूवर्ड्स आवर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. It refers to the formal and specific location of the responsibility vested in a person, while responsibility has a personal and moral connotation and is not necessarily related to formal status and power. Accountability is also defined as the answerability of a person in an organization. अच्छा जी, आप कहते हैं कि हमेशा जो है वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अकाउंटेबिलिटी किसी स्पेसिफिक टास्क से रिलेटेड, किसी स्पेसिफिक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से रिलेटेड होगी. लाइक वेन एवर द पर्सन विल नॉट परफॉर्म हिज और हर ड्यूटी अकॉर्डिंग टू द रूल्स एंड लॉज in some particular matter, ultimately he will be held responsible or answerable towards his organization, towards her organization, or maybe towards the general public, or maybe towards the governmental institutions. उसके बाद आ जाता है जी द मीनिंग ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल. Accountability is basically a kind of management control. Control is the process of ensuring the actual activities conform to established standard and laid down procedures. Control help managers to monitor the effectiveness of managers. As you can see the figure, this figure basically shows the basic control process. This process is essential to accountability as shown in figure before. Control process is initiated, standard and methods are established against which performance is measured. Then it is measured or assessed if the performance matches the laid down standard. If it matches, then it is satisfactory performance, but if it doesn't matches, then coercive actions are basically taken. Now this is a general process of control and accountability. These general steps can be adopted to any work situation. As you can simply say that established standards and methods for measuring the performance. अगर आप फिगर को देखें तो सबसे पहले जो है हम किसी की भी परफॉर्मेंस को मेजर करने के लिए एक स्टैंडर्ड्स और मेथड्स जो है वो क्रिएट कर देंगे कि आपने जब भी काम करना है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दीज स्टैंडर्ड्स करना है, और इन केस अगर आप उन स्टैंडर्ड्स को वायोलेट करते हैं तो आपको इन मेथड्स की बेसिस पे जो है वो आपकी परफॉर्मेंस को जज किया जाएगा. जब परफॉर्मेंस जज होगी तो या तो वो परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड्स के साथ मैच करेगी या फिर वो परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड के साथ मैच नहीं करेगी. इन केस अगर आपकी परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो अकॉर्डिंग टू द रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस है, लॉज है, और आपकी स्टैंडर्ड जो परफॉर्मेंस है दैट इज़ टोटली मैचिंग विद द like standards, then ultimately you will do nothing. ज़ाहिर है आपकी परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स के साथ मैच हो गई, अब आपको कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। लेकिन इन केस अगर आपकी परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स के साथ मैच नहीं करती, then you will take corrective actions and re-evaluate the standards। कि सबसे पहले तो आप जो है वो उस परफॉर्मेंस को बेहतर करने के लिए कोई करेक्टिव एक्शंस लेंगे, और उसके अलावा आप अपने स्टैंडर्ड्स को भी री-इवेलुएट करेंगे कि क्या हमने ऐसे स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाए हुए थे कि लोगों ने ईजिली उन स्टैंडर्ड्स को वायलेट कर लिया। इफ़ देयर वाज एनी काइंड ऑफ फ्लॉ, तो जो भी फ्लॉ होगा उस फ्लॉ को जो है वो पहले बेहतर किया जाएगा। Then there are types of accountability. There are basically two kinds of accountability. First one is internal control and second one is external control. Uh, Internal control is exercised either by the superior over the subordinate within the chain of hierarchy or by other parallel agencies. Then there comes the types of the accountability. First one is internal control, second one is external control. Internal control is basically exercised either by the superior over the subordinate within the chain of the hierarchy or by other parallel agencies in the executive branch of the government. It consists of directing, regulating, supervising, advising, inspecting, and evaluating. It should be continuously done without being felt. This mechanism of accountability has positive results also. The kind of accountability is basically done within the organization by the superiors to the subordinate. Uh, they are directing their employees for each and every task. They are regulating their activities. They are supervising every task. They are advising their subordinates about the performing about how to perform this particular task. Then they are inspecting and evaluating, and most of the times the promotions are even done on the basis of this accountability, so employee is even more motivated about his or her task to perform it so well. Then there comes the external control. It is fitted outside the administrative machinery and work within the general constitutional framework of the system. It is exercised by the external bodies such as legislative and judiciary. So basically an external control is done by the outside the organization. In Pakistan we have federal investigation agency, we have national accountability bureau. They are kind of external organization which have the authorities to held accountable the different public organization for their activities and for their task. And if everyone or if anyone is doing something wrong or not according to the law or legislature, they can make them or hold them accountable for their particular activities. Different methods are basically followed for both of the basically methods, internal or external control. In internal control, the methods which are being used to the for the control purpose, these are administrative process, hierarchical order, annual confidential report, budgetary control, administrative leadership. First one is administrative process. In a parliamentary system, cabinet stands at the apex of the executive. Prime Minister directs the ministers who are in charge of their respective department and are responsible for the efficient working to the cabinet and Prime Minister. The whole working of the department are reviewed by the Prime Minister and his cabinet. That's how the administrative process is basically done. Then hierarchical order. Every administrative department is arranged on a scalar pattern and executives are organized in the hierarchical order. The executives are linked with superior subordinate relationship with clear authority and responsibility. They are accountable to their respective superior for their actions and dealings. Thus, a hierarchy itself a powerful instrument for monitoring subordinates' behavior and for enforcing the accountability. Then, annual confidential report. The superior officers prepare the annual confidential report. We also say it ACR. ACR of their subordinates every year. The work of whole year of each public servant is basically assessed. Then there is budgetary control. A budget is not only a complete policy statement, of the total activities of the government, but it also reflects the aspiration of the people. The Ministry of Finance in Pakistan, the Ministry of Finance prepare the budget and operation of the budgetary sanctions and appropriation. Then administrative leadership, it is basically another mean of internal control. Leadership motivate and inspire the employees for efficiency. The same is with the government. Leadership inspire its public or its subordinates for the efficiency in the work. Thus, the morale and the motivation of the employees depends upon the leadership. The effective leader set examples of high standard of integrity and performance for his followers. He inspired them for work and instilled in them a pride in work. A good leader is objective oriented and always tries his subordinates to achieve the objectives. Then there comes the external control. There are different methods for the external control. First one is legislative control. The major instrument of public accountability is the authority of the legislature to empower, limit, investigate, and basically ensure the executive body branch. The legislative enacts laws, authorize administrators to engage in quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial activities, appropriate funds for the all administrative programs, and determine the general outlines of administrative organizations and procedures. Then questions. The first hour of everyday sitting of legislature is known as the question hour. The time is allotted for answering questions. Every legislature, after giving due notice, are entitled to put questions and supplementary questions to the ministers about the state of public administration. The ministers are bound to answer these questions. The purpose of this question is to basically inform on the working of administrative department. As we all know that most of the times whenever there is a NAB hearing, whenever there is the FIA hearing, we have heard about the question hour, where the ministers or the higher authorities are asked the questions about their administrative authorities and whether they have performed these administrative authorities with the loyalty. Then resolution and motions. Resolutions and motions are of two kinds, that is, firstly those whose object is to basically uh, ensure a particular minister or government as a whole. Secondly, those which recommend some course of action to be adopted. The former leads to dismissal of the government or ministry. The latter is recommended. It may or may not be accepted by the government. Members of parliament are entitled to pass resolution on the matter of general public interest. So basically each and every matter is basically debated and discussed in the parliament. Sorry, resoluted, and motions are basically done by the parliamentary member. Then debates or discussion in the house constitute another important means for controlling the executives. House perpetually go on debating one thing or other. Discussion are taken place over every point of a bill or budget or policy. Every motion comes under discussion in the House. The inaugural address of the President, the budget speech, introduction of bill for amendment, introduction of new law, or introduction of motion or resolution provide opportunity for the debates and discussions to the members of the assembly or member of the houses. Then there is committee of the legislature. Legislature are basically the bodies who cannot meet for the whole year. Hence, they appoint committees of their own members who are specialists in their sphere of activity and keep constant watch over the administration. Public Accounts Committee, Committee on Subordinate Legislation, Petition Committee, Committee on Public Services. All of these committees gather a lot of material here, expert evidence, and frame conclusions. Such conclusions, which are formed in the form of recommendations, which correct the tone of administration by improving efficiency and quality of work. Civil services respond immediately to the recommendations of the such committees because they know that their opinion are of experts and backed by the full house. Then there are some methods which are to be followed in the executive control method. These methods are following: policy making, budgetary system, recruitment system. Firstly, we will discuss the policy making. The chief executive, along with his cabinet, control the administration through policy making. All important policy decisions are taken by the cabinet in every country. The department carry on their day-to-day business within the policies which are laid down by the cabinet. So ultimately, by making the policy, the executive has a control, that they basically decide that how a policy will be formulated and how the policy is going to be implemented, and the department will keep an eye on the day-to-day business of the implementation and evaluation of that policy. Then budgetary system, it is the main responsibility of the chief executive to prepare budget and to present it to the legislature. After the approval of the legislature, the chief executive implement it through the allocation of funds among various departments and control it by the proper utilization of the fund. Then there is the recruitment system. The third system of executive control works through a recruitment of the public personnel. This is usually placed in the hands of an independent recruitment agencies like public service commissions or federal public service commissions. Then there is judicial control. Judiciary is one of the important external agency which exercise control over administration. By judicial control means the power of courts to keep the decisions and acts of administrative officials within the bound of law. L.D. White explains the importance of judicial control and says the system of formal external control officials and their acts, which fall primarily into two divisions, that exercised by the legislative body and that imposed by the courts. The main purpose of judicial control is basically to determine the constitutionality and legality of the administrative acts of public administrators, and thus to protect the rights and liberty of the citizens from the wrongful acts of the government officials. There are different type of remedies. Uh, there are two systems of legal remedies against the unlawful acts of the government official. One is rule of law, second one is administrative law. Uh, the rule of law means that the system prevails uh, even in Pakistan, USA, England, or whatever the country we choose. Uh, the system is basically administrative system where the law prevails. It means everybody, high or low, and official or private, is subjected to the same law. Like if you belongs to a private organization or if you belongs to a general organization, if you are doing something wrong or something against the law, you will be held responsible or you will be held answerable towards the law or towards the judiciary, while public administration is not above to the law. Like if we talk about the administrative law, they are not even above to the law. While they are performing their official duties, they must perform their duties under the legal remedies, and they must not be offending their official duties, and they must not uh, challenge the writ of the state. That is it for today. I hope to see you in the next lecture, inshallah. Thank you so much.